Hey everyone, Brian Zane here, and my interview guest this week, he is a multi-talented athlete, star of the screen, the stage, and the ring. In Ring of Honor, he is a member of Faction Ingobernables. He's a former World Television Champion, a World Tag Team Champion, and starting this weekend, he may be on his way to adding the Pure Championship to his resume. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kenny King. Kenny, thanks so much for being here.
That was pretty good there, Brian Zane.
Well, I did practice a bit. So first of all, I guess congratulations are in order. I think a lot of people saw the viral video that went out this past weekend, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, where you proposed to your girlfriend. You were on a boat. That is so romantic. That's cool to hear, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know why everybody's congratulating me. Nobody gave me anything, but that's how that goes. It was a good time. You know, we went. It was my first time ever in an RV. We rented an RV. Drove up to Big Bear, so now my spare time is spent up looking up like RVs and fifth wheels because I think I'm about that RV life right now.
Yeah, I figure once you do that, you kind of like want the freedom of the RV and want to travel. Where around the country do you want to travel in an RV? Well, have you thought about places?
You know, I think that it's just the convenience of having whatever all your stuff and you know, your lifestyle wherever. Right. I mean, I don't really know. I think that it would be cool to go to like Yellowstone, or it would be cool to like find a place up in Tahoe by the water. So, I mean, there's so many with an RV, you can explore so many different types of terrain and so many different kind of landmarks.
I remember one of my earlier jobs before I left college, I interned at a production company, and one of our clients was an RV company. So we filmed a lot of like footage, like company footage of their products and stuff. And it kind of briefly, I kind of wanted that RV life too. It seems like it's nice if you could afford it. But
that's the part right there, that part.
Yeah, right. The affordability of it. Speaking of congratulations, aside from your engagement, congratulations on, you know, being part of the Ring of Honor Pure Championship Tournament. We're a couple of weeks into it now, and your first round match with Josh the Goods Woods is happening this weekend on ROH TV. And Kenny, only 2 weeks into this tournament, a lot of people are turning their heads, and they're getting this tournament's getting a lot of traction and a lot of positive feedback right now amongst, you know, the online world and the fan base and everything. What do you make of the response so far to the Pure tournament? What's that telling you?
Well, I think that kind of just goes to show you how the ROH fans and the wrestling world in general was missing Ring of Honor, our style, our brand of wrestling, our brand of entertainment, because, you know, the Pure tournament is unique, not only just because of the rules, but you have to have 16 guys that can wrestle that style. So, you know, that just goes to show the depth and the talent of the Ring of Honor roster to be able to put on a tournament with these kind of skills, this kind of technical tournament. And I just think that it is just, this goes to show that people were waiting for Ring of Honor to come back, and the fact that we came back focusing on what got us to dance, which is wrestling, which is the sport, that aspect of it. I think that's what's gotten people excited.
Absolutely. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far on ROH TV. I can't wait to see your match with Josh. My question to you is this, though. I'm asking all my ROH friends who got that experience. What was it like to be in the ROH bubble? Was it insane, going to be isolated in that hotel room for a few days before you got to actually wrestle for the first time in months? Like, talk to me about some of the memories you had of being part of the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, the bubble was just that. It was. I think what the underlying thing about the bubble is that it only worked because every member of the roster understood how important it was. We had, you know, Zooms, and we talked about, you know, listen, you know, the Maryland Athletic State Commission is going to be looking for any kind of infractions. They're going to be looking for us to do something wrong, so that should we, you know, we might not get this opportunity. So I think that everybody was professional and stepped up and took it upon themselves to make sure that we followed the rules. Really, really isolated. I mean, like, you know, it's a weekend unlike every other. Usually when you get together, you know, weekends, you see your friends, you know, your pals, you kind of congregate. But this was more about focusing. This was more about getting yourself ready to wrestle, because we haven't wrestled in so many months. This is the longest that I haven't wrestled in, I want to say 11 years, maybe 12 years. So to get back in after that and to feel like, hey, man, I could have wrestled 3 or 4 more matches, that's really encouraging. I think that all of us needed that time to kind of get our bodies back in shape and get our you know, our whatever injuries, whatever nagging afflictions we have in order. And I think that's another thing that you're seeing from the tournament. Dudes are just ready to blow up, and that's coming across on the screen.
Speaking of, you know, being a time apart from Ring of Honor and the time that we were all away, one thing that got kind of derailed when the pandemic first took over was the ascension of La Faction Ingobernables. Because like right before the pandemic hit and everything was shut down, ROH regained the World Championship and everything. The group formed late last year after Final Battle with you and ROH and Dragon Lee and Amy Rose. How did that group take form? Like, talk to me more about like what the process was, if you can remember, like what the chemistry was like at first for you and your teammates, and like how you think you guys were doing before everything stopped.
You know, it goes back, and it's really a story, and it's a story that we've been actually talking about telling through you know, with me being in States and those guys being in Mexico. It's something we'd rather do together, but we're thinking about different ways how to tell the story. But it started in 2017 when I went down to CMLL for the Grand Prix tournament, and I was obviously on the Mundo side of the things, and you know, ROH and Dragon were on the Mexico side, and it was just something about I think Dragon and I had an interaction there, and you know, there's mutual respect, his speed, you know, like he's just obviously one of the best in the world. And that Sunday, it was myself, I think Michael Elgin and Matt Taven, and 6-man with ROH, Bestia Del Ring, and who's ROH and Dragon's father, and somebody else. And I think it was there where ROH and I really kind of got a chance to feel each other out. Let's go back to MSG, right? And everybody knows what happened. Kenny Shawn Michaels King became the first person in Ring of Honor to start at #1 and to win the Honor Rumble. And in a show of complete disrespect and I feel classlessness, you know, the not so great Muda sprayed me with that nonsense in my eyes, messed my eyes up. I had to get, you know, emergency ocular vacillation reticulation surgery. And in the time all that happened, Amy Rose was really just a helpful figure for me. She saw me wandering around the locker room with my little cane, and you know, where other guys were making fun of me. Amy, you know, she spoke to me, and I, you know, she didn't know that I spoke Spanish, but she gave me some good guiding, you know, some good positive words. And I think we really had our first major talk in England. It was ROH, Amy, and I. We had a chat in I want to say, what was the last show we did? Bolton. And we sat down. We had a conversation about what it is he wanted to do and what it is I was looking to do. I was looking to form a conglomerate, to put some powerhouses together, to really carve out our space in Ring of Honor. And the missing piece of all this was Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee and ROH are brothers, real life. But Dragon Lee is always kind of, you know, Dragon Lee was never about that Ingobernable life. You know, Dragon likes to please the fans. He likes to be, you know, that kind of outgoing guy. But ROH is his big brother, man, and where big brother goes, little brother follows. And we had to sit down with the young Dragon. We laid out what it is we're trying to do, and then it formed. And it was unfortunate because we were really getting ready to place our stamp by eliminating Villain Enterprises. That was literally our first goal, was one, get the Ring of Honor World Championship back, but eliminating Villain Enterprises because they a fake clique, bro. They, you know, Flip Gordon don't even vote, so we don't really care about Flip Gordon. You know, so just you know, just to kind of get those dudes out of the way, and then right as ROH reclaims the World Championship, Dragon Lee's the World Television Championship, we got our eyes on the 6-mans, and here comes COVID. So we were right on top of the world. And it's kind of like, you know, like a ... to be continued. The minute that all of us get to form up like Voltron again, right back at it.
Look forward to seeing that. Now, you've been in a lot of teams and factions over the years, like La Faction, All Night Express, The Cabinet, and that's just ROH, certainly. But you've also had a fair amount of, like, success in a singles capacity as well. So, like, I guess to put you on the spot, like, which do you prefer, or which would you, if you had to choose one path, like being like a team player or having the spotlight all on yourself, like, what do you prefer? What do you feel more comfortable with?
You know, it's like this, right? I'm an elite athlete, and elite athletes like to have the spotlight on them. I've proven over my almost 2-decade career long that I can hold my own with everybody. I can get in the ring with anybody, and I can give you a match that can main event anywhere. But there is something to the power of numbers, man. There's strength in numbers. There is, especially when you have the numbers are international superstars. So when you have a group of guys who each carry heavy weight, and they are like-minded and they want to form up and kind of go in the same direction, that can be very, very powerful.
Now, I reached out to my fans on social media for some question ideas, and one of the more common questions I received is basically asking what you thought of your experience in Impact Wrestling, because you left ROH in 2012, you became a two-time X Division champ while you were at Impact, you were part of the Beatdown Clan, and we'll talk more about that in my next question, more specifically, but how would you grade your stint in Impact before you came back to Ring of Honor a few years later?
I mean, how would I grade it? I mean, I'm always going to give myself, I give myself an A, right? B plus A, right? As far as like, okay, I give myself a B plus because I didn't win the world championship, I guess. I don't know if I even had an opportunity at that, but I did win the X Division championship twice. I beat Rob Van freaking Dam, who, if you'd have told 11-year-old Kenny that you were going to beat Rob Van Dam for the X Division championship, wouldn't have believed you. And that's just in-ring stuff, right? I got to wrestle Kurt Angle. I get to wrestle with, Bully Ray and the Hardys. Like, those are just, my own personal highlights. But then if you think about the relationships, the guys that I got to actually learn from. I got to learn from Kurt Angle. I got to learn from Jeff and Matt. More importantly, I got to learn from guys like MVP, from Bobby Lashley, guys who are still on top of the game right now. So I would grade the overall experience in A because I learned so much. I got so much experience. I got to sit down and learn from Sting at one point, So I would just say this, man, Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say about it, it was never due to the efforts or the talent of the talent. So that's kind of what I feel about my time there, that everybody there was singularly focused on saying we can't there's certain things we can't control. We're not affected by that. All we can do is continue to produce high quality in the ring. And I think that's what happened the whole time I was there.
Let's talk about Bobby Lashley and MVP for a second, because right now they're doing big things in WWE. They're the nucleus of what we now call the Hurt Business. But when I saw that group forming early on, like when they added Shelton Benjamin, I'm like, something feels kind of familiar here. Like it's very reminiscent of like the Beatdown Clan, which you were a part of in Impact. Have you been watching the product? You notice any kind of similarities between Hurt Business and Beatdown Clan besides just like the people who are in the group?
Yeah, I mean, the only similarities between the Hurt Business and the Beatdown Clan is that the dudes are black and it's MVP and Bobby Lashley. They are two different groups that have similar ideologies, I could say, right? That were brought about for different reasons, formulated for different reasons. I am nothing but excited and happy and proud of all of those dudes, Bobby, MVP, Shelton, Cedric, those guys, they took a spot that was probably supposed to be this big and they made a whole hole in the damn wall. So to be able to do that, you have to be talented. You just have to be undeniable, and you put those dudes together with like the things that they can do, and you don't make them a nation of domination. You don't make them a caricature. You don't make them stereotypes. You just let them go out there and do what they do, which is entertain, kick ass, and be just great pro wrestlers. This is what you're gonna get. So the similarities are just because we both performed at a high level. We both were very topical. But the Hurt Business is the Hurt Business, and the Beatdown Clan was the Beatdown Clan.
The MVP has been getting a lot of credit lately for kind of like essentially elevating a lot of the young talent, not just the Hurt Business members, but also people they're feuding with, like Apollo Crews, for example. How did MVP help you out when you were working together in Impact?
The funny thing is that I was not initially 100% excited to be working with MVP. They signed MVP when I was on a hiatus. I don't know what you call it, where I was sitting home forever. But so MVP's character, I've always felt was very close to what I was building as a character, even in WWE, and I was building at the Indies. So when they signed him and then they were like, okay, you and MVP are going to be working together, I was like, man, I don't know how that works because we kind of occupy the same space, right? But as we got to start working and get together, and as it happens when you have instant chemistry with somebody, I realized that we don't occupy the same space at all. We occupy the same genre, I guess, but the way that he portrays his character and the way that I portray mine are completely different, but put together, man, it is a magical thing. So it was great because, I've been in my career, been the kind of fallback for the promos and for a lot of different things. So it was cool that he could be the mastermind and I could be the insane pop off firecracker. It was a lot of fun to learn that you can think that two things are the same, but in reality they're not.
Changing gears a bit, back in July, Ring of Honor hosted a roundtable discussion that's currently on their YouTube channel, and it focuses on Black Lives Matter and police brutality. You were part of that discussion along with Shane Taylor and Jay Lethal, Caprice Coleman, and Jonathan Gresham. And I know you have, before and since the roundtable, been very outspoken on racial matters, not just in wrestling, but also in America at large. What has, since the roundtable at least, let's use that as a jumping off point, what has the ratio been in terms of like positive and negative feedback? Because there's always going to be like devil's advocates and stuff in that kind of topic, but do you get told like stick to wrestling? Do you get told things like you've helped open my eyes? Like what's the general reaction been to when you're outspoken about these matters?
And you're going to get all kinds of stuff, right? You have people that are willing to listen, and you have people that are only willing to not talk until it's their turn to talk, right? So you have a mixed bag of people that have said to me, damn, what you said or what Jay said or what Shane said, I never thought about it like that. And that's why it was so imperative to have the different guys, the mix of guys that we had, because Shane's experience is not my experience is not Jay's experience is not Caprice's, but there's an underlying context here. So in me being outspoken, you're always going to get you're much better, stick to wrestling, as though me being a professional wrestler disqualifies me as an American citizen somehow. But for me, I think it was more encouraging for the people that you're not going to change everybody's mind about everything, but if you can plant a seed and someone that thought this way can now at least see other avenues of thought and other viewpoints, then it's a successful thing. It's only unsuccessful when you have people that are just so obstinate in their views that they take any other views as attacks and whatnot. But you're always gonna have that, man. That's kind of where we live right now.
Speaking of where we live, if there's one thing that this pandemic and the time off from wrestling collectively has taught us, it's that there's a lot of demand and a lot of need for like some systemic change in the wrestling industry. So like, broad question here, but if you had like a magic wand and you were able to change like one thing about wrestling as a business for the better, what would it be?
Damn. Well, I thought I had one immediately, and then I thought about another one right away. So I'm going to give myself one and an honorable mention, right? Because I feel like the first thing that popped up immediately is already happening. And I talked about it in my roundtables, where you are seeing less and less of the stereotypical characters, you're seeing people allowed to be three-dimensional characters regardless of where they come from, right? It used to be there was black, they had to be hip-hop or pimps or this or that. If they were Asian, they had to be in a kimono and face paint. If they were Latino, they had to be stealing shit. You know what I mean? Like it was a hard line, and now I think that anybody can be anything, and I think that is a very good step, because art imitates life. And when people start seeing, black dudes as doctors and chemists and Asian people as, things other than subservient, I think that is the key to having people normalize that in real life. That being said, if I could wave a magic wand, I think I'd go with the ugly word, right? I would figure out some kind of way to unionize pro wrestling. Because if you look at what we do versus what unionized stuntmen do or actors or like when you talk to these people, they look at us like we're idiots because we've allowed this to happen. But that's a whole nother topic.
Well, Kenny, thank you once again for taking time to do this interview. Your Pure title tournament match with Josh Woods airs this weekend on ROH TV. So with 2 weeks down and 6 to go, like, what else do you think fans can expect through the duration of this tournament?
The level, the skill level, the technical level, you can expect it just to get higher because the stakes continue to get higher. People's egos are now involved, and everybody wants a shot to be the brand new Pure champion. So I think that you can continue to expect the level of presentation that you've been seeing, because whoever has been doing that is amazing. And, just continue to expect high-level wrestling, high-level production, high-level presentation from Ring of Honor.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kenny. Well, for Kenny King, I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.